Good morning. For Traders Exclusive, this is George Kachuk with RCM Wealth Advisors reporting to you from the CME Group trading floor in Chicago. Well, here we are the first week in October, and the equity markets are very strong. In fact, what I'd like to talk about this morning is strength in the equity markets, what we're seeing, what are the stronger sectors right now in the market, and a few select stocks that you may want to look at as this market unfolds. So first off, the reason I say the market's very strong, breadth has tremendously improved. And no matter whether you look at the S&P 500, the NASDAQ Composite, the Russell 2000, the S&P 400 Mid-Cap Index, the S&P 600 Mid-Cap Index, or the Dow Jones Industrials or Dow Jones Transports, all these stocks are above their short-term moving averages and their long-term moving averages, meaning all these indices, they're above their 10-day, 21-day, and 50-day moving averages. That's really strong market, meaning we don't see any negative divergence. In fact, last week we saw the transports break out into a new recent high, and that's really what the market needed, just so we get all indices moving higher at the same time. That's really a good sign. So now if we look at the individual S&P 500 sectors, this is being led by the technology sector. If you look at the ETF XLK hitting new highs. Right behind it is the energy sector, XLE. Now remember, energy got hit very hard, and that's about the strongest sector out of all the S&P 500 sectors, and followed up by the consumer discretionary, doing very well. Now the good thing about this is that the utilities have turned down, and so I have consumer staples. And that's exactly the kind of thing you want to see in a growth environment, where you have the growth sectors participating to the upside, and the more defensive sectors, basically utilities and staples, pulling back. So now a lot of stocks, we talk about the technology sector, are extended in price, so you don't want to chase these. But we're also finding a lot of stocks that are setting up in the technology and energy sector. So you might want to keep your eye. I'm going to give you a list of a few stocks. They're right below their pivot points. You need to look at a chart they're setting up. So for instance, if we look at Infi, that symbol is IPHI. That's basically near a breakout point, ready to move through it. So you might want to take a look and see if that makes a move through that on higher volume. Similarly with Fabrinet, that symbol is FN. It's approaching a 45 buy point. You may want to take a look at that. Now in the energy sector, there's Parsley Energy, PE, that bounced off its 50-day moving average and trying to make new highs. Similar, Callon Petroleum, that symbol is CPE, also similarly bounced off the 10-day line, moving, maybe try to make new highs. In the mortgage and finance sector, one stock that's right at the pivot point right now is Ellie Mae. That symbol is ELLI. It's above 102.63 buy point. It's trading about 104. That may be something you might want to add. Or also you want to look at another optic stock that's Applied Optoelectronics. That symbol is AAOI. That's also right below a pivot point. So all these stocks are setting up good volume. They're coming out of good basis. So these aren't necessarily buy recommendations. This is something you might just want to take a look at, discuss it with your financial advisor, because we are finding strength in the market, and we still are finding a lot of setups. You don't want to chase things that are extended. So, as always, let price and volume be your guide. Mind your stops. This is George Kachuk with Traders Exclusive, reporting to you from the CME Group trading floor in Chicago. Have a great trading week.